Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on my channel. In today's video, I thought that since I know a lot of us are quarantined and chilling and we're at home, why not give my favorite Netflix recommendations? I've been watching Netflix constantly since I've been home, and I thought I would share some of the shows that I've been watching with all of you. Honestly, there's so many. I might have to do a part 2 of this video. I thought, why not share it with you guys? Maybe some of you have watched it before, or if you haven't watched it and you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, all the shows I'll be talking about in this video, I definitely recommend. So let's get into it. Okay, one of the shows I've been watching that I really like, it's called I Am a Killer. So I believe I have Canadian Netflix, by the way. So on the Canadian Netflix, there are 2 seasons. Basically, every episode is about a different inmate. There are some females, the majority are males, and most of them are on death row. So it's very interesting. In every episode, they interview the inmate, then they will interview people that are related to the case. So it could be the prosecution, it could be families of both the victims and the inmate. Could be like news reporters, anybody that was basically involved in the case. They try and get as many interviews as possible. So you hear about the crime from the inmate's point of view. You hear about the crime from like the prosecution and all these other people's point of view. And then they go back and interview the inmate again. This one has you on your toes. Like, you're just like, wait, what? That happened? What? That happened? It's crazy. So I highly recommend I Am a Killer if you haven't watched it on Netflix. The next documentary, it's the trials of Gabriel Fernandez. So I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there. This one was a very tough one to watch. I actually had to stop it a few times and like take a break and do something else and then come back to it because it is very graphic. They do show you footage of Gabriel, and just like hearing his story and what he went through, it was very hard. So just a warning out there, it is very emotional, but the reason I'm recommending it is because it was very well done. I don't think a lot of light is shed on child abuse, and I think the way they portrayed the entire like case and everything was done very well. I didn't know about this case before watching the documentary, so like everything I was seeing was like brand new to me. But yeah, I definitely recommend it if you're into true crime, if you're into like cases about child abuse, if you want to see justice for Gabriel. There is a piece of justice at the end of this, so highly recommend it. And then the last documentary I'm going to talk about, which is like #1 everywhere now, and the reason I watched it was because it was like trending #1 in Canada, is Tiger King. I have never seen a documentary like this before. It was wild. It's basically about this guy named Joe Exotic. He has a zoo and he's now in prison. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to give anything away. At the end of it, I was just like, wait, what? Is this real life? Like, it's crazy. I've been telling everybody to watch it because I want to talk to people about it. I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't. It's definitely a good one. That's it for documentaries. I'm not going to talk about any more because I'll be here for like 5 hours. But I'll just go into some TV shows and then, yeah, a few TV series. I'll start off with the oldies but goodies. So the first one that I'm rewatching is Gilmore Girls. So basically Gilmore Girls is about a single mom and her daughter living in this nice, cute town, and just about them like living their lives, and Lorelai living her single motherhood life but like dating, and then Rory, who's a teenager and she's going through her situations in life, and just about like the connection like the single mother and daughter have with each other. It's a really cute show. I really love it. I used to watch it back in the day, but if I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched like every single episode of that series. So I just decided to start from the beginning, and now I'm rewatching everything. Another show I'm watching is Grey's Anatomy. I never watched Grey's Anatomy before Netflix. So I always heard about it, but I never got the hype of it until I started watching it myself. And I just love it. So much drama in that show, but I just love like the information, like the medical information. I know it's a TV show, but like I've learned so much from that show when it comes to like medical terms, situations. I don't know how to diagnose a person, but like, you know what I mean? Like you just learn like general things that like I never knew about before. So I really like that show. I'm on season 13. So again, I haven't finished it, but I'm in the process of watching it. I really like it. I hear people like rewatch it just because they love seeing the episodes and they love the characters and all of that. And I can see how you feel attachments to characters because I definitely do with TV shows. So another one that I really like is Community. Community is basically a show about a bunch of misfits in community college, and they're all in the same Spanish class, and they kind of formed a study group, and it's about them and their lives and their like circle as a study group, and then like what they're going through in their lives and going through community college. It's really funny. It's a different kind of humor. Not everybody likes it. Community is definitely my kind of humor. Like I die laughing every time I watch an episode. I love all the characters. Community is a show I haven't finished. So I used to watch it back in the day when it was on TV. And then I stopped for some reason, but now that I see it's on Netflix, I started watching it from the beginning, and I hope to finish that out soon. And then the last show is Friends. I love Friends. I never watched Friends growing up. I always knew about it as well, but I never like took the time to watch it. But now as I'm an adult, I feel like it relates to me so much because like I'm basically like the age they are at in the show. So I just feel like we connect so much. I feel like I'm definitely a Monica. And it's just basically about a group of friends living in New York and following their lives and their friend group. And it's just a really nice like light comedy kind of show. And I feel like, you know, Friends and Community, these shows are like really nice to like watch, especially during this time when like everything is so kind of like sad and down and you just want like a really nice like pick me up. Those are definitely some really good shows to watch. So now I'm just going to talk about some current shows that I'm watching. I haven't finished all of them, but it's just shows that I've really been enjoying, and I think you guys will too. First one, it's La Esclava Blanca. Now this show is in Spanish. I love watching foreign TV shows and foreign movies, by the way. So I'm really into that kind of stuff. But the reason why I really like La Esclava Blanca is because it mixes some history in with like, it's kind of like a telenovela. So basically it's about, I think it takes place in the 1800s. I'm not too sure the time frame, but back in the day, it takes place back in the day when they were trying to abolish slavery in Colombia. And it's about this girl. So she's of Spanish descent. She ends up being raised by a black family in Colombia, which is why her name is La Esclava Blanca, the white slave. So she was raised by a black family in Colombia. They were slaves, but they escaped, and they raised her for most of her life. And then stuff happens. I don't want to get into it, but it's basically, the show is about her journey, like what happened to her and what ends up bringing her back to Colombia. And the episodes are like a pretty good length. it's definitely not something I could watch back to back just because the episodes are long and I'm reading and I'm also trying to like understand what they're saying in Spanish. Like sometimes I'll stop it and I'll rewind and listen to like certain words and stuff like that. But it's going really good. I'm really enjoying it. Another show that I really like and it's really cute. It's called On My Block, and it's basically about these teenagers. They're going into high school. They've been friends for like a very long time and they're from like a rough part of California. And just like them going into school, but then they're dealing with other stuff because they may not come from the best area and things that they have to deal with, like in terms of like gang activity and like family situations. It's a whole bunch of things that are in this show, but they try to find a way to make it through. So it's a really nice show. There are 3 seasons. I just finished season 3. I'm pretty sure they're going to come out with a season 4. So one that I recently watched as well, Locke and Key. It's kind of like mystery. There's a bit of comedy in it, but it's basically about this family relocating after their father has passed, and they're moving into their father's family home. And in this home, there's a lot of mystery involved. There's magic. The kids are trying to find out what's going on, and it just takes you along their adventure. There's just 1 season, but it looks like there will be a season 2 based on how they ended season 1. It's very interesting. It kind of reminds me of like Harry Potter kind of vibes, and it just shows you them on their mission. Like each kid is like going through their own thing, so you see what they're going through. The mom is going through something, dealing with like the loss of her husband and trying to figure out what's going on. And yeah, it's just a really good show. Very interesting, very mysterious. That was one I definitely binge watched. I think I finished it in 2 days, maybe the same day. I'm not too sure. I started one night and then I finished it off the second night. Another show that I'm gonna talk about is The Queen of the South. This show was really good. Like I was obsessed with it for a long time. I believe all the seasons are on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to spill too much about that show either, just because it's so intense and there's so much going on and there's so much drama. But it's basically a mixture of crime, like with murders and stuff, and drugs. And it's basically about a girl named Teresa. She's from Mexico, and her life in the drug game, basically. I don't want to say too much else, but the way they did it was really good. You actually learn a lot about how people transport drugs. Like I learned a lot from that show. Not that I'm doing that, but I'm just saying you learn a lot about it, and like how a lot of the drugs are transported from Mexico to the US, or even from like South America to the US. So it's very interesting if you're really into that kind of stuff. The last show on my list for this video is Ozark. I watched the first episode last night. Really enjoyed it. Basically, from what I know right now, it's about this family man. He ends up getting involved in things he probably shouldn't have gotten involved in, but he did. And things go bad, and he basically has to find a way to fix it, or it's the life of him and his family, and not in that order. So if you watch the show, you know what I mean when I say that. But yeah, so it's really good. So far, so good. I'm probably gonna watch it after this video, after I finish filming and editing this video. That's basically it, guys. I hope this video isn't too long. Those were just a few of my recommendations. If you have any shows that you watched that you would recommend, leave it down below so that I can watch it as well. Like I said, I haven't even gone through half of my list, so I think I might do a part 2. I'll see. But yeah, let me know what you guys would recommend. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you will be up to date whenever I post a new video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!